Wait, you didn't even do our intro.
You know what? I forgot.
Good evening, all you minties, and welcome back to another episode of Reelz Talk with your host, the amazing Amanda, my lovely co-host, the Uncanny Omar.
What's up, everybody? Today we are talking about Mission Impossible 7.
Yes, this
right?
mission
7?
just got a hell of a lot more impossible.
Possible?
Impossible.
What was the quote? I think you're misquoting.
It was. No, I'm not. I just watched it.
Oh,
I just watched the parody to get it right.
Okay. Yes, we're talking about Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 1. So would this be considered Mission Impossible 7? Or if the next one is Part 2, then is that Mission Impossible 8? These numbers, man.
Yeah. That's what I'm assuming, because technically it's a 7th film, but they're calling it Part 1.
Okay.
So it won't be like if you go on Paramount Plus, Mission Impossible Fallout, it says MI6, right? So this one, I bet when it eventually gets on Paramount Plus, it'll probably say MI7 or something silly like that.
Evening, everybody. So we are going to be talking about spoilers in case you haven't seen this movie. In case you love Mission Impossible and you're excited to talk about it, I just want to make sure we are going to be talking about spoilers.
Okay, Matt.
And there are some good ones in here too. Isn't the next Fast Saga movie called Fast X?
Is it Fast X Squared? Because that would be more clever.
What? No, there's no way they did that. There's no way they did that.
Yeah.
Omar, welcome back. The fresh shaved face, though. Yeah, thank you so much, Josh. Yeah, summertime. Summer Omar's here, baby.
Yeah,
so,
his face was getting hot.
It was getting a little too hot, so I had to shave it. So the Mission Impossible movies started in 1995, I think, right? If I'm not mistaken. I was in high school when the first one came out. I remember going to see it with some friends because I remember watching the Mission Impossible TV series with, what was it? Walter Matthau was in it, I think.
Yeah.
When I was a kid with my dad. And I would fall asleep halfway through the episodes just because it was late at night and it was Mission Impossible. I didn't understand. I'm 4 years old, but I love the theme. I love the theme to Mission Impossible. Mm-hmm. So when they used it in the new movie, I remember getting pumped up. So this was, way ahead of its time. Did a little, did some twists and turns in that movie. I loved it, man. It was so awesome. Like, we didn't know. You went to the movie theater and you were like, okay, it's Tom Cruise, Emilio Estevez. He has his own team. It's going to be like the classic TV show. Bam. Within the first 15 minutes, the team gets killed off and it's just Tom Cruise running around trying to figure out who killed his team.
Yep.
Whoa. Back then it was crazy. We didn't have the internet. I mean, if we did, you have to be rich to have the internet.
Yeah,
but 1990.
Dial-up connection.
Exactly. Yeah, they're like... We had school. We would talk about it in school the next day. We're like, oh, dude, you see Mission Impossible? Yeah. I remember dudes were making fun of Tom Cruise, he's in love with himself because he does all these close-ups because anytime he's a producer in all his movies, he does close-ups on his faces.
It hasn't stopped. That's what happens.
I didn't care, dude. I thought that movie was awesome. So I was really happy to see them in this particular movie bring back a character from the first movie that we haven't seen since the first movie. So I thought that was really cool because in Mission Impossible, we have returning characters. Like you have Ving Rhames' character, who I think has been in everyone. And
more modern.
I want to say he wasn't in 3, but he came back to. No, he wasn't in 4, maybe. And he came back to 4. And I remember that part costing Tom Cruise a couple $1 million just for that little cameo at the end. But he came back. But Kittredge comes back from 1. And I thought that was really cool. I always liked the character. And I always wondered what happened to him. But then when you had Alec Baldwin and you had Lawrence Fishburne come in, then I'm like, oh, okay, then we don't need a character like Kittredge. But I'm glad they brought him back. He plays a really good, straight man. You never know whether to trust him or not. That could be his face.
I don't still know if I should trust him or not after this film. So I guess we'll find out after the next one. But this one, our 7th film of the franchise, which, I mean, obviously an action franchise that John Wick is hoping to become, which I'm sure it will at some point, something that can span, a couple of decades and still make as much money as this franchise has been making. Let's hope that Dead Reckoning Part 1 can still go the same way as the other films its predecessors, as far as making that money and bringing back the summer box office that has been lackluster so far this summer. But to give you guys a quick little rundown of the film, directed by Christopher McQuarrie, this is his 3rd outing on the Mission Impossible franchise. We have Tom Cruise coming back as Ethan Hunt, Simon Pegg coming back as Benji, and like you said, Ving Rhames comes back as Luther. Rebecca Ferguson makes her appearance again as Ilsa Faust. Vanessa Kirby, who now has grown on Omar, which is
that girl.
Storm. And
so is she okay? I do have a question, and for anybody that I don't know if they clarified it, and this is a little bit of a spoiler, like I said, in case you haven't seen the movie, but is she Job's daughter from the first one? Because Kittredge mentions that he knew her mother.
Yep.
And they kind of act very similar in character. And I really like that character in the first movie. So I don't know if they've never established it. I don't know if it's a thing like within forums still a thing. Yeah,
not the only one.
Reddit or if people are talked about it, like who her
so they say that she's the daughter of Max Mistopoulos.
Yeah, that's her. Joe. Yep. Awesome.
So yes, okay. It is her. Yeah, that's what
I forgot that did they talk about that in Fallout? Okay, they did. Josh said they did talk about it in Fallout. Okay.
Yeah,
I must have missed that. I haven't seen Fallout in a while. But in this one, that is apparently the Fallout confirmed it, Matt, so it's not a theory.
Yeah,
but the way she carried herself in this one reminded me of Job. So I was like, oh, it has to be her mom. So cool.
Exactly.
Sorry. Carry on.
No, you're fine. Yeah.
Thank you for converting that, Josh.
Yeah, and of course, Henry Czerny, I think is his actual last name. I don't know how to pronounce it, is back as Kittredge. But then we have some new folks, right? We have Haley Atwell, always lovely to see her on screen. And she's coming back she's starring in a new role as Grace, who is I
wasn't thumbs up. You keep I thumbs up you all the time, Amanda. I was thumbs up Josh.
Oh, good deal. What is that noise?
I don't hear anything.
I keep hearing. Okay. I think I fixed it. It's fine.
Okay.
I'm hearing something in the background. All right. And of course.
Voices in your head again?
And then we have a cast of characters like Carrie Ewells is our director of national intelligence, Denlinger, which is interesting to see him in this role, and a host of surprise cameos by people like Mark Gatiss, Indira Varma, and Rob Delaney, who I was confirmed that is the guy who played Doug from Deadpool 2. He just lost a lot of weight.
I didn't even recognize him.
Yeah.
I recognize Mycroft, though, from Sherlock.
Oh yeah, Mark Gatiss. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, in this film, so it cost about $290 million to make, mostly because of the COVID-19 pandemic, with all the delays in production and things of that nature. This is not only the most expensive MI film, it's the most expensive in Tom Cruise's entire career.
This is the one where he was going off on a couple of people that were breaking COVID rules, right? I remember a little bit of drama 2 years ago where people caught sound clips of Tom Cruise going off on crew members that weren't wearing a mask.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Craig. Much love to you, brother. Keep on running.
Yeah,
or walking. Try to run like Tom Cruise and watch our streams. So yeah, like he went off on people, but the thing is like when things get taken out of context, I remember people were like, "Oh, Tom Cruise is such an asshole. He was going off on poor crew members." But the thing was, like, he was trying to keep production going, and if people start breaking rules, like, they had to stop production. So, so that's what ended up happening.
Exactly. So I'm glad he did what he did, and that we're getting to see this film, because we're probably not going to get to see Dead Reckoning Part 2 for quite some time now.
You need to stop that nonsense.
I know, I am.
What is wrong
Anyways,
with you?
and we also, two other people that I didn't mention, Asai Morales plays Gabriel, basically the human avatar for the big bad in this film, which is a rogue AI called the Entity. And then Palm Clementif playing a mysterious assassin who works alongside Gabriel named Paris. So essentially, just quick plot synopsis, there is a rogue AI called the Entity that is basically been running rampant throughout all of the digital sphere, infiltrating different governments, not doing anything necessarily, but it's made its mark, it's left its imprint. All the different governments know about it. The United States, a lot of people are wanting to claim it as its own. And the only way to get control of this AI is to get this key. And the key is 2 parts that have been separated. Ilsa had one part, and we don't know who, in the beginning, we don't know who has the other part. So Tom Cruise or Ethan Hunt has been recruited to find Ilsa to get that one half of the key. And once he figures out what it's for, he decides he's going to go rogue because he thinks that no one should have this power. He's going to find the other half of the key, and he's going to destroy the AI because he feels like no one should have control over it. It shouldn't exist at all. It needs to be destroyed because that's too much power. So, of course, Kittred's like, well, then I got to stop you. And he sets a couple of other IMF agents, Briggs and Dega, on Ethan's path to try to stop him along the way as Ethan's trying to acquire the other key. We also are introduced to Grace, who is a thief who's been hired by the White Widow to obtain the other half of the key. So we have some great action sequences of them interacting for the first time, running against or, running from the other IMF agents. And of course, you have Benji and Luther helping out. And this is where we come to find out that there's only so much that Benji and Luther can do because the AI can even infiltrate their own technology. It knows them. It knows Ethan. It knows what he would do. And how do you defeat an enemy who already seems to be 2 steps ahead of you because it knows how you'll react based on previous data that it's obtained through the digisphere. So they're trying to fight all of that. And of course, they're fighting the AI through its human avatar, Gabriel. He's actually connected to Ethan from his past. They kind of do a
little flashback between him and Ethan and a woman that he shoots.
Maria. And this
we need to talk about Maria in a little bit
okay.
when we get into our thoughts, because I really thought they were going to do something here. Honestly, I was kind of disappointed in the movie as a mega fan of the series, and I couldn't help but feel a step down after Rogue Nation and Fallout. They did Ilsa dirty.
I did not. Yeah, I wasn't a fan of Ilsa's demise. Oh, spoilers! I can say demise.
People
I was not a fan of that. So yeah, of course, it is a race against the entity's plans to try to get these 2 keys. Of course, the White Widow gets involved, and we do have some deaths. Ilsa ends up dying at the hands of Gabriel, and Ethan recruits Grace into the IMF at the end of it all, even though she tried to run from him for most of the movie. And they are able to obtain the keys together on this moving train, but Gabriel's already sabotaged the train. There's two big, massive action sequences. The train sequence that kept me on the edge of my seat and stressed out for like
if you've ever played Uncharted, I think it was 2, where Nathan Drake wakes up and he's in a train, like a cart that's falling, and you have to keep jumping. That's what this was like in a movie, which I guess they never made it into the Uncharted movies. So
no, you mean the one movie they did, and I was like, their action sequences weren't nearly as good as this.
Honestly, there were a few. I mean, the car chase scene was freaking awesome. Like,
can we talk about this Fiat? God bless.
I bet Fiat sales go up this summer.
Oh, I love this scene. I mean, yeah, we'll have to talk about some of the action sequences because there was comedy in this that I was not expecting. Tom Cruise is being self-deprecating in a way that I thought that Fiat scene was a good example. He was going to kind of impress her. He was hoping to impress her by getting like cool Porsche, right? And there was a Porsche sitting there, and when he presses the button, it's the Fiat that shows up, and then he's pressing all the buttons, and he's like, "That's never happened before." Like jokes about things not working because the windshield wipers, sexual innuendos and things of that nature. I like that part a lot. I thought that was really nice. So, anyways, we'll have to talk about those scenes because they were great. But yes, even though the entity, Gabriel's like, I know how it's all going to play out. But of course, because Ethan Hunt does what he's supposed to do and goes against what he usually would do, he's able to obtain the key, leaves Gabriel empty-handed, but that still leaves us with an entity. So obviously that sets up for, while the entity right now, no one has the key, so we're safe from anyone gaining control of the entity. It's still out there. So Dead Reckoning Part 2, I'm assuming, will be trying to find the submarine that is housing the device, the control center for this AI, that we can use the key to defeat it and destroy it. And that's what I'm assuming Dead Reckoning Part 2 will be all about. It's just my assumption.
And I think that's why I enjoyed this movie so much too, is that it feels like it's got a good wrap up. Yes, there's going to be a follow up, but it really does end like this could be its own movie.
Yeah.
Right? It leaves enough open. It's not like a to be continued. It's not like Ethan Hunt will be back, even though because it does say at the beginning, Part 1. It's just a movie that wrapped. And I like that about movies like this, that, I mentioned this when we were doing Spider-Verse.
Yes.
To me, like, movies have to stand on their own, even though they're part of a continuation. Yeah, holy crap. It's like, what this movie managed to do, at least for me, is bring back that summer blockbuster feel to it, like the action summer blockbuster. That, holy crap, it's got some breathtaking action sequences.
It does. I do wish they didn't spoil the scene behind us of him jumping off in like all the marketing materials. Because while that's amazing, and I love seeing the behind the scenes of Chris McQuarrie, the director, like, oh my God, did I just kill Tom Cruise as he's jumping off? As much as I appreciate that, I could have waited to see that after. I wondered if I would have been more like, whoa, if it actually.
No, dude, like that kind of stuff doesn't ruin scenes for me. I mean, they've done the same thing with, like, we knew he was going to climb rocks with no harness in Mission Impossible 2. We knew he was going to be rappelling off the side of the building in Dubai.
Yeah.
Like, those came out months before, because I think it made you appreciate, or at least me, it made me appreciate that scene a lot more.
Yes.
And then question, okay, what was CG and what wasn't? Obviously they had to. I was telling Alicia, my daughter, that went to watch it with me, I was like, he actually jumped off a ramp, but he did jump off the side of that mountain, and they had the CG like the mountain. So that was really that was crazy. Like,
oh yeah.
Tom Cruise gets crazier and crazier in each of these movies.
But
that
all of the action sequences, and if we talk about the CGI, so one of the things I even told you, you haven't seen Indiana Jones, but the biggest thing that stuck out to me in this film is we've had quite a few films this summer that have a fight scene on top of a train, and this one's in daylight, and I felt like it felt more realistic. And I know there has to be some CGI involved, because there's no way either one of them are fighting on a train moving that fast. That's impossible. Tom Cruise is a lot of things.
Mission Impossible. He did it in the first movie with a helicopter that's coming after them.
Yeah, I know. But it just seems so much more realistic. And if you watched Indiana Jones in those opening sequences, it's a dark atmosphere, but it just looks like there's CGI characters on the train, top of the train fighting. So that, like, it makes you think, and that film cost way more than this film did to complete.
I haven't seen it, so I can't speak of.
I know you can't speak to it, but that was like, I couldn't help compare it. So,
well, yeah, I didn't, since both of them came out at the same time too. This one definitely feels like, holy crap, the action is just where it's at. But I think in a way, Mission Impossible has been like that, where you have a stupid MacGuffin. I'm not talking like Mission Impossible 2 stupid MacGuffin. Like, but it is silly, right? Like two keys that go and it's almost felt like a James Bond type movie plot where you have a AI that is kind of gone sentient, maybe, and knows everybody's weaknesses. So, oh, thank you so much, Martin. Omar, Latino America te ama. Muchas gracias, hermano. So it does feel like if you sit and like sitting and listening to you, and it's not your fault, explaining the plot, I'm like, man, this sounds so stupid.
It does. So yeah.
So they're after two keys. They're after two keys the whole time. Once the two keys are combined, it opens up a secret thing that can destroy the world. So Tom Cruise and gang decides, no, that's way too important for one person to control.
Yes.
Ooh. But we have to find out what that is because we have to know where it is.
Yeah, we don't know what it goes to.
I think sometimes, when watching these movies, a part of it is you just go with the flow. Yeah, sure, whatever. It's stupid fun, but holy crap, I think where it pays off, though, are the practical effects, at least for me. I don't think I go watch Mission Impossible movies for the plot, but it's for that adrenaline rush that I feel when, they're doing chase sequences, because you're talking about people that love making movies. I mean, I know people make fun of Cruise for being crazy and Scientology and all that, but that man really puts a lot of love into the trait. Like I remember reading somewhere that he wanted to go to space to film a sequence in space, like fighting in space. And I don't know if that was going to Mission Impossible movie or not. But in this, like, it really feels like, okay, I want to jump off the side of this building, or I want to jump off the side of this mountain. And we're going to do it as practical as we can with no CGI, no stunt doubles.
Yeah.
And it really does pay off. At least for me, it's part of the ride, and it's insane.
And I love the build up for that. So, and what made that scene even better? It wasn't just I'm going to just do this and jump off the cliff. It's he misses his first turn because the train's going way too fast because Gabriel had stopped or broke off the brake. So there's the train just going, right? And he sped it up. So he couldn't make it on the first turn. So Benji's trying to direct him to another location where he can get onto the train, not telling him, well, it's going to be a massive cliff you're going to have to jump off of. So I love that.
I do love that Benji freaks out every time. He's like, I'm having a panic attack, Ethan.
I love Benji. Oh, I love Simon Pegg. He's so good in that role.
Solid.
But and I agree with you with obviously these films is based off a plot device. And if you even look at like John Wick plots, right? The plot's thin. It doesn't stand as on like it's
right. And you start feeling deja vu. It's like,
yes, you do.
I've already seen this.
Yeah, I feel like I've seen this, but then you're watching, John Wick having to go up those stairs in John Wick 4, and
I haven't seen 4 yet, and I almost watched it on the plane because. But what stopped me from watching it on the plane? I'm like, oh no, how they do movies on the plane.
Yeah,
they edit the crap out of them. Except for some reason they didn't edit the well, and they didn't edit what's it called? But anyway, another movie that I watched because they were dropping F-bombs left and right. But John Wick would have been like edited to crap.
They wouldn't have shown it. That's why they didn't show it. That you can't. Like, how would you?
Well, no, it was on the plane. It was a choice to watch it. And I'm like, I'm not going to watch it on the plane. I'm going to watch it somewhere else.
You're going to watch it, yeah. I'm sure it's out. You could probably buy it now or rent it or whatnot.
I'm pretty sure I can. Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, and everything's a plot contrivance. But Macquarie makes it work because they're using the entity as the entity's fueling all the interactions, everything that's taking place, right? Because that's this overseer, great overseer. And it reminds me, there's other films, it's a big topic, right? AI is the reason why the actors and the part of the reason why actors and writers are on strike. It's the whole Chat GPT, right? Mitchell's versus Machine, wasn't it? And rogue AI that became sentient and decided it had to protect humans from themselves and all of the robots.
I love that you went with Mitchell's versus the Machines instead of,
and
I don't know, Terminator 2, Judgment Day. But no, do go on.
Yes, and Westworld season 3 was the same thing. It was a rogue AI as well, but that was it was more episodes, a little bit more boring, and yeah. So this had to be more action packed. So this is a topic that we've seen time and time again, right? So you're watching these movies for the action and then of course the actors. And I think that the ensemble they have put together here, even with the new characters they brought in, is very strong. Like, I think Haley Atwell is a great addition to the cast.
Yeah, okay, I didn't like her at first, and obviously she blames herself for the death of Isla, and I thought, I thought the same thing. I was like, wait, you have a brand new annoying character that's a thief. Yeah, she's really pretty, but why are you Ilsa, not Isla? Why are you replacing Ilsa with her? Because I really like Rebecca Ferguson. She was awesome. I mean, this is her, I think, third installment playing the same character.
That's the only thing I didn't like about the plot. The whole, you're going to have to choose between these two women. I'm like,
what does that even mean? What did that even mean? Like, I was like,
loves and a woman he just met. I feel like, come on, entity. Like, what? This is a little too dramatic for me. There was
he's not Leonardo DiCaprio. He's not going to choose the younger actress. It's like, I don't even know what the heck the reasoning behind that was when he was like, you got to choose two women, and I know I'm between these girls.
Yeah. What about Vanessa Kirby? Like, she's over there.
Well, I thought I missed part of the plot. Viva Peru, carajo! Thank you,
my brother, that's the only part of it that I thought, okay, this is a little too contrived. Not a big fan of this whole plot. It would have been just fine that it's just Haley Atwell is there, and she can still contribute to Ilsa's death because she's still trying to get out of it, right? She's still trying to escape.
No, but. And I'm sorry, what I meant to say was, like, her character did grow on me. I really liked her at the end of the movie. I feel like she fit into this movie, which goes back to this question right here.
Someone asked for a GIF of her.
I don't think that was the one. I don't think that's the one. I'll find one. What do you guys think about the retcon of the decision and the criminal backgrounds given to the IMF members? Okay, it makes sense for what's his name? Oh my gosh, the guy that played Ving Rhames, right? His character, Luther, right? Makes sense for him because in the first one, that's kind of how he got involved. Tom Cruise really didn't have a background, like a backstory. Ethan Hunt, so we really don't know much about him. So sure, neither about Benji, right? All we know is that IMF puts together a team, and that's kind of how he got together with Benji in this. Was it the second movie where Pegg Benji first appeared?
I think so.
Right? It was the Australian guy and Benji. Yeah, because I know Ving Rhames wasn't in that, or maybe he was. Anyway, so I'm okay with that. Sure, they have criminal backgrounds, and they're given a choice to either.
Squad. Okay.
Yeah, it doesn't bother me.
Yeah, I mean, and it does. It's an interesting way to, when you're at your lowest as a criminal, you're either going to go to jail or prison, or you can help the United States or the world, I guess, because IMF is technically it seems like it's an American agency. It's run by the Americans, but I don't know, they help everyone. So there we go.
Haley Atwell all day and night. She's easy on the eyes. That's for sure. She's
all really... women in this were easy on the eyes.
Oh man, yeah. Oh my gosh. Yes. And I mean, I didn't even recognize Mantis without her makeup at first, and I'm like, oh, it's her, Paris. Interesting character.
Yeah,
and honestly, that's another hokey little thing that it didn't bother me that much because I was just in on it. But if you take a step back and like replay that whole thing where he just stabs her and he's like, "You're gonna betray me because he let you live."
Oh, I know.
What? Is this guy a walking maybe he is walking AI.
Yeah,
And
I would have been okay if Gabriel wasn't constantly predicting the future and being some soothsayer. If we just left that part out, and given that, and do want to talk about the editing and the things like that, maybe that would have made this a shorter film. Possibly, you could have cut some of that out. But I do want to talk about Palm because, like I said, we have a great ensemble, but I felt like there was her character was there, and she was like that menacing, Asian sidekick that goes and tries to kill them. And we don't get much from her. I think she barely said one or two words the entire time, except for the ending.
I thought she was mute.
Betrays him. Yeah. So I just
I thought she was mute on purpose because I thought she was a mime because of her makeup.
The makeup, yeah.
Was I right? So when she talked, I was like, oh, she's not a mime. Because I remember when she's driving the car, right? She's like laughing, but you can't hear her. Like she's just like, she's getting a thrill out of killing people. And I'm like, ooh, I kind of like these one-dimensional crazy characters.
But then she becomes not one-dimensional. So it was weird.
Yeah. So again, it's part of the goofy plot that you kind of just whatever.
Yeah.
Is she going to team up with Tom Cruise in the next movie because they still have
dead. Oh, she had a heartbeat. You're right.
They were like, hey, this one's got a pulse.
She's going to be back. I forgot. She had a heartbeat. You're right. She'll be back, which is good because I was like, we need more of this because I feel like that's an underdeveloped character right now because we were giving so many other characters time. And so her character is undeveloped. So.
But you know what little screen time she had, I will say I really liked her.
She made the best of it, yes.
What little screen, like the car chase scene, she was ruthless. Thank you, Jack Ferry, for the super chat. Haley Atwell in low cut tops, chef's kiss. Mwah. I'll find you a gif. So yeah, what little time she had, I enjoyed her in it. I thought she was great.
Yeah, I'm glad to see something else besides Guardians now because I do think she's actually a good actress. So this is going to be good for her.
Yeah, and Matt brought this up. What was the last time that we saw the actor? What is his name? Reelz Morales playing Gabriel. Dude, all I remember him from, I don't know anybody else, is screaming, Richie! When Richie Valens died, it's Richie's brother in La Bamba. That's the only thing I remember him from. Like, I don't know what else has he been in.
He's he's recognizable to me. He's been in something else. But apparently La Bamba is the most famous.
La Bamba, dude, like that's Richie. Yeah, I love that.
He was in Bad Boys, the original.
Was he?
No, it was in '83. Never mind. That's way too.
I was like, no, he wasn't.
Yeah, he was. Oh, he was in the Titans TV series, which you didn't watch, so that's not gonna get you anything.
Okay, who did he play in Titans?
Deathstroke.
Oh, that's right. He was in Ozark, and he came.
There we go.
Not to spoil anything, but he was only in it for like.
He's been in a lot of stuff.
A little bit. Bad Boys with Sean Penn. That's what it was.
Okay, gotcha. He was in like Criminal.
What's up, Bert? How have you been, brother?
Hey, Bert. He was in
Ozark and Titans. Yeah, you're right. Man, people really remember him. I remember him from La Bamba. That was it. I forgot that he was in that. He played Deathstroke in Titans? What?
Yeah, that's crazy.
Okay. Guess he's a bit of a badass, huh? I was wondering why they cast him in this role. Okay. Maybe it was Deathstroke that got him over.
That won him over. They're like, all right, we can see that.
So how about you? What did you think of the main plot and how everything was revealed and what was the standout? And who was the standout actor for you?
I mean, besides Tom Cruise, honestly, I love Simon Pegg, so I thought Benji's moments were really top notch. He got some good moments in this movie, but I really did like Haley Atwell in her role. I thought she did a really good job, and I think she'll be like, I'm excited to see what she does in the next chapter. But as far as the plot, I mean, now that I look back on it, it seems so obvious that the buyer at the end of it all would have been Kittredge or Denninger or someone like that. it made sense because I kept wondering, who are they trying to get this from? I honestly thought it was the Russians. So I was,
because of the beginning of the movie.
Because of the beginning of the movie, right? That the Russians were the ones with the submarine that was undetectable. So I thought this had something to do with it. But now realizing that, oh, we're the ones who developed this AI. It got into the submarine. There we go. Okay, now I see what's happening. So I like that. I like the twist on it, that it's of course our government the entire time. They're the ones trying to acquire it because that's America. We want to be a superpower. That makes 100% sense. I'm good with it.
Well, doesn't every country want to be a superpower? Have the
yes, but America has it. But America, as of late, it's just the way our politicians come across. We want to be the best. We want to be the very best, the best that ever was. But as far as there are things that I feel like we could have cut because I don't know about you, but I felt like it dragged a little bit. It's not with the action sequences, but in between the action sequences, there are parts that I feel like this went on too long. Like maybe that scene in the like, for instance, the scene when they're in the club could have been cut maybe by getting rid of the whole choose between these two women thing. Like certain things that we could have just tighter editing. And then some of the dialogue. So those things I noticed is we're repeating like the overuse and excessive dialogue about this entity, about the key, what it does. And at the time, we're like, okay, you guys are just repeating yourselves now. We get it. We know. Let's move on. Because it's like said by 700 different people, not to mention like the 8 people in the room at the beginning with all the random CIA and
I like those shots.
Yeah, that was great. I loved how they all could finish each other's sentences in that community, the community of intelligence agencies in the United States.
Go watch it, DJ, and then come back. Then come back. Go watch it. Go watch it.
So no spoilers yet. So that's the only thing I think when it came to the plot, there had to be ways that we could have just made it a tiny bit shorter and cut it a little bit tighter. But I wouldn't give up any of the action sequences, particularly not that train sequence, because I was so stressed out the entire time, or the car chase, which I thought was fantastic. My favorite, I think.
I think tighter edits would have helped because the pacing felt a little bit, I don't want to say all over the place. Yeah. I think when we walked out of the theaters, I mentioned that the pacing was a little all over the place. But I don't think that's the right choice of words. I was thinking maybe more along the lines of like the pacing was off at times. And I think it has to do with how much action we have. Now it's time. And it almost feels like you're watching a different movie whenever, they're explaining things and they're over-explaining things. And part of Mission Impossible is how fast-paced it is in each of these movies. There's nothing wrong with, like, slow-down scenes and things like that, but I feel like they used them a few times, a little too many times in this one, because you were like, okay, get to it. I'll tell you what, though, what you said, though, the last 25 minutes of this movie, when the train starts, holy crap, that was amazing. That is Mission Impossible.
Yeah,
doesn't matter what the MacGuffin is.
Everything.
Yeah, it doesn't matter what the MacGuffin is. Twists and turns. What are you doing here? I'm not supposed to be. Whatever. Doesn't matter. Like, holy crap.
100%. Yeah.
I am gonna miss Ilsa though. She was great. She was like she's been in them since the 5th movie.
Yeah, a lot of people. So here, Josh has an interesting. I felt the same way, Josh. Grace living over Ilsa couldn't help but feel like Tom Cruise very blatantly switching up for a younger, sexier leading lady. It felt kind of gross, to be honest. I initially had that same feeling, but there is a part of me. Someone else had said that Rebecca Ferguson is filming all like the Dune movies, and maybe she doesn't have the time to commit, and so they're having to kill her off. But then there's also the theory that maybe she's not dead at all, and it's another one of those. She's still gonna lie.
Okay. Nothing against the character. I think she's a great character, and I would love to see her back. But I really hope they don't bring her back, because then we just get. I mean, I've made this comment before on the channel that Mission Impossible movies are my Fast and the Furious.
Yeah.
Like, people go and see Fast and the Furious because they have a love for these characters. They know what to expect. I know what to expect when I go see Mission Impossible. But bringing back dead characters, no. Like, I get it because people wear masks and it can be a twist, but I just like they haven't done them. Let me think. Within the movie, yes, they've done it, but they haven't done them like outside of the movie. If a character, like, I'm sure people have seen the previous movie, but just in case they haven't, like a character died in the previous movie, Rogue Nation, a main character. They haven't brought them back, so I hope they don't want them. I hope they don't bring them back.
Neil, what? Okay, now I feel like now we're judging a woman by her looks, and now I feel bad.
Wait, what is this wee stuff? You got a mouse in your pocket? I didn't say shit. I was quiet the whole time.
That's probably true. She's probably actually older. It's just the way they probably age looks a little bit different. And now we all
Rebecca kicks all ass though.
I mean, she's gorgeous, but now I feel like I feel dumb.
Well, don't feel dumb. People age differently.
Yes. So then I guess
she also looked older than Haley. I thought Haley was younger too.
Yeah. Okay.
Man, she kicks ass. Like, I love the way she fought. Like, she's awesome.
Yes.
Alec Baldwin is not coming back to Mission Impossible.
I don't know. He's not in jail, right? They
killed off his character. Why would they?
Well, they could. You don't know. They could bring him back.
That's what I'm saying. We don't need to make this into Fast and the Furious.
Also because of, I don't think he's doing much these days.
He's in jail. I don't think he's in jail. How about this? Mission Impossible series versus Taken series versus John Wick series versus Bourne series.
Oh, that's.
I still choose Mission Impossible over that. I love John Wick. John Wick comes a close second. But I haven't seen the fourth one, so I can't judge it.
Seen. Oh, I don't know how many. I haven't seen any of the other Takens besides the first one. I didn't know how many there. How many are there? First
3.
Good luck. That's all. I mean, that's what I got. Yeah.
Jeremy Renner was in 2 of them. He was.
I kept thinking he was going to replace Tom Cruise
one, and he was in the 5th one, and that's it. Yeah.
But he could come back. I mean, he's recovered very well from his snow.
Yeah, I hope Dead Reckoning 2 brings back some of the, like they brought back what's his name from the first one. I hope they bring back more characters.
I agree.
Because oh my gosh, my favorite agent was from Mission Impossible 4. What was that one called? Do you remember?
Which one?
It's the one where he's rappelling off the side of the building.
Oh, Ghost Protocol. I think we already talked about that.
Yeah. I love that one. Oh, because it has
that one actress, that
Paula Patton.
Paula Patton, yes.
Wow, that oh my god, that woman. That was my favorite agent. I fell in love with that girl.
She's gorgeous.
She was married to
Robin Thicke.
That guy, yeah. Wow.
Yeah, married to Robin Thicke. Because I remember I saw her and I loved the movie Jump the Broom. My friend Zakita maybe watch it with her, and I really loved her in that. So she was great. I haven't seen her in anything.
Man. In that, what was it, the green dress when she walks out of that Lamborghini? Yeah. My God. Woo! I wish they had brought her back. Okay, where were we? So back to this. So yeah, the plot and the pacing, I'm with you. Dialogue is, to me, I've come to expect the type of dialogue in Mission Impossible to over-explain things. In a way, it's a good balance of over-explaining because we're about to dumb it down with some amazing freaking action sequences.
I think they just were worried that people wouldn't like the concept of the AI. Like they were worried that maybe.
I don't know why, because
audiences, even though it's in like our repertoire, right? Everyone talks about AI now, so yeah.
They ain't used Limp Bizkit since the second one, man. That was the best part. That might have been the best part. That and Tom Cruise's haircut in the second one might have been the best part about too. Hard Boiled with Chow Yun Fat. That's a great movie. So yeah, dialogue and pacing. What did you think of the special effects? Were you ever like, that looks fake, or were you are you so absorbed in the movie that you're like, wow, this was awesome?
So yeah, that's one of the things and that's why I brought up the train scene, because I didn't feel like anything felt too fake, too CGI'd at any point during the film. Even when they have to do the masks and that silly mask stuff. And I love when, what is it? It's Shea Wiggum's character Briggs, when he kept trying every person
Oh,
he kept trying to he's like, is that a mask? And he like, and they even were like, they didn't want to look like they were racially profiling that one guy in the airport. But I didn't have an issue with any of the special effects in the film. I thought it was pretty solid for what they had to do. And I think that's probably in large part because they try to do everything as practical as possible. What about you?
There was just a couple of scenes that I remember thinking.
Were they ones I went to the bathroom like with my daughter 5 times? Because maybe that's why.
No. Like never, even if I had not seen the making of him jumping, never did I think, wow, that's CGI. Even when he's jumping and Benji's talking to him and he's yelling, that's an actual shot of Tom Cruise.
Yeah.
Holy crap.
He's like face is all like.
Yeah, I'm glad we got actors like that to entertain me. That oh my god, that's insane. There were a couple of scenes I can't remember. Oh, and I knew because my brain could not keep an eye for this stuff. But in the scene with the car chase,
yes,
I was like, they're going through some historical parts right now in Venice. It was Venice, right? There's no way they're going to be able to wreck anything. So I kept an eye out for like little things like, so of course they had to zoom in whenever they went through the stairs and stuff like that, because they're not going to do that to the real stairs. But there were a couple of things that I remember through that looked a little CGI, but that was it. I mean, that is minute. What's the stunt going to be in the next one? Getting the movie out on time is going to be the stunt.
Because they had yet to film before the actor strike was approved. They had yet to film internationally. They've done all the stateside stuff, but they still had a few things they had to shoot internationally. They have not done that yet. And now that the strike has been approved, no one's doing anything. So now
Tom Cruise can't leave his house.
Yeah, he can't. Well, he can leave his house.
Leave his house.
If he wants to join the picket line, he's more than welcome to. But yeah, they
feel like you're giving Tom Cruise really limited options right now.
I am. Just
Tom Cruise, you can leave your house only if you join the picket line. If anyone
could solve it at this point, I feel like Tom Cruise is.
Oh yeah, you know what? Tom Cruise couldn't get people to go see the Flash.
You're right.
I don't want to hear it.
He couldn't get people to see the Flash. Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
I don't know how well it's doing at the box office. Here's a really good statement. Tom Cruise has nothing on Jackie Chan when it comes to practical stunts.
Jackie Chan is crazy.
Jackie Chan is on another level. But I believe both of them are the same level of crazy. Like, because you have to be a certain level of crazy to do the things that they do to entertain people, because this is the profession they decided to take.
Yeah. So in terms of the box office, obviously we won't know anything for the full weekend until about they'll start to say about Saturday night. I think they'll start to come out with a good estimate of what you could expect for the weekend. But
is it better than Flash?
It opened on Wednesday and it made $15 million on Wednesday alone, and then $8 million on Thursday. So now that Friday's hit, people are going to theaters. I know it's raining here all weekend. I don't know. That's pretty good numbers for advanced screenings prior to the actual opening night. So we'll see how it works with the rest of the weekend.
I disagree. Jackie Chan did stunts way more dangerous and over the top. Need I remind you that Tom Cruise hung off the side of a fucking airplane? Not because he was like, hey, I'm going to make a couple more $1 million off of this, but just because he was like, yeah, we don't need CGI for off the side of a fucking airplane. That takes a level of crazy. Like I said, Jackie Chan was there. I haven't seen Dial of Destiny yet. I guarantee you Harrison Ford did not hang off the side of an airplane on that one.
He even said, he's like, I'm 80 years old. I've got stunt doubles for that. He blatantly said he was not doing most of his own stunts.
He's Harrison Ford. He's fun. He's a national treasure.
Yesterday. Yeah, it's fine.
I need to go see it this weekend.
Yeah, you need to go watch it.
When Jackie hangs on stuff there, but I'll change my mind. It's just, and I'm not saying one is better than the other. I love Jackie Chan, and I'm a huge fan of all his practical stunts. And I'm sure a lot of it has to do too with the budget, right? I'm sure if a movie like that was like hey, Jackie, we need you to rappel off the side of this building in Dubai. I'm sure he would have been like, I don't need to rappel. I'll just run on the side of the building.
I can defy gravity.
I'll run really fast. That's just the way it is.
That's just the way it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Tom Cruise, if there's anyone who's going to be like, he is the advocate for practical effects. And I know he is not a fan of CGI, AI. I mean, I even heard that recently that he had to fight to get the rights to his like AI likeness back from like the studios. He won, of course, but he had to fight for that. And obviously that's one of the things the actor strike is fighting against, because the studios want to be able to scan your image and then give extras and use it as a background actor in perpetuity, but not pay you for it.
Yeah,
like that was Black Mirror's plot. Like, that's literally what that was.
Like, that's what my buddy Derek and I talked about today. I didn't know that until he was telling me, like, that's what apparently they want you to sign. And it's sad, but I think it's kind of the way the world is going. That's what they're trying to stop. All right, so back to this, and then we can talk about a couple of other things. Let's see. Is there anything outside of the dialogue and the pacing that you did not like?
No, cast was solid. I think it's a great, like, that's what this film would have been. It could have gone, if it didn't have the right cast, could have been worse. But I think this cast, I mean, most of them have been together for quite a few films at this point. They have a good repertoire already with each other. The additions were good additions. I have no issues with them. And yeah, I mean, I enjoyed the film a lot. It was really fun.
I kind of want to go see it again, because this film reminds me why I love seeing movies in the movie theater. Yeah. It is that, and honestly, Tom Cruise is at the beginning of the movie, like he does in all of the Mission Impossible movies I've seen in the theater.
And Top Gun Maverick.
He reminds you that, hey, we made this movie so you can enjoy it in the theater, so sit back and enjoy. And I like that, I like that. It reminds you why this is better than streaming services, which is something that we're fighting right now, right? That's one of the big problems. It's like people are like, I don't want to pay to go to the movies when I can just sit here and watch a movie from home. But there are certain movies I think that just require that experience. And like I said, the reason why I love going, my number one reason, is because that is the one place in this planet that that and flying on an airplane when they make me go on airplane mode, that I can completely shut off from reality by turning this, or never looking at my phone.
Exactly.
Because even if I watch a movie at home, my phone vibrates. I'm like, oh, what is, and then I go down a rabbit hole of stupidity instead of paying attention to what I'm supposed to be paying attention to.
Exactly.
So movie theaters for me are a win because of that. How's next week going down? Okay, before we answer that question, Bert.
Oh, yeah, we got to give our score.
Anybody that has seen this, out of 10, what would you give Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 1 out of 10? Ladies first. Amanda.
It was a solid movie. I give it an 8.5.
8.5. I give it an 8. It was fun, action, stupid. Yes, of course, but I know what to expect out of a Mission Impossible movie. I don't care if it's like, hey, didn't I see this? I don't care. Fight scene in the train? Didn't we do that? Nope, doesn't matter. This one so good. I loved it. Yeah. 8 for me. It was great, and it reminds me why I love going to the theater. 9 out of 10. Bert gives it a solid 8. Matt gives it a 9. We'll wait around for anybody else. And if you're watching this later, let us know what you would give this.
Or in the comments, yeah.
In the comments section. This is a really good question. What's your favorite movie of the summer? 8. And I give this last a 10. Thank you for that, Craig. You're so kind.
That's hard because technically Guardians kicked off the summer movies. If I had to say from a nostalgia standpoint, an emotional standpoint, Guardians is my favorite film this summer. I've already seen it a lot. I do, but then Spider-Man would be like objectively my favorite film of the summer. So there we go.
You can only pick one.
I know, but I just love both of them so much. I really love Guardians. There's something, I really loved that film in a different way. I mean, so maybe that's my favorite summer movie because I just really absolutely loved it. Just,
Okay.
I mean,
Now keep in mind, you haven't seen Fast X yet, Amanda.
No, I think I'm good. I think
You made me watch Fast and the Furious because you were like, we're gonna watch Fast X.
Yeah, I've seen a lot
I'm
of
gonna
them.
watch Fast and the Furious. Okay. That's a good question. I like that question. I think I gotta go with Spider-Verse. It's great.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
It's great. This is a close second. Flash taking the top. I got nothing. Yeah. This is they're close. They're neck and neck. Spider Across the Spider-Verse in this one. Neck and neck. They're great.
Exactly.
Now, of course, I haven't seen a lot. I haven't seen a lot of the movies. Like I haven't seen Asteroid City. My brother wants me to go see that with him.
See that. I hear it's fantastic.
What was the other one? There was another big one that came out. Not Little Mermaid. White Man Can't Jump.
That came out on Amazon. You can just watch that on Amazon Prime, I think.
I'm good.
One of those. We watch it. It's not worth it. Trust me. You are not gonna like that film. I know you, and you are not gonna like it.
You know me, and you're not gonna like. I'm not gonna like it. Okay, fair enough.
Now, Elementals. That's not really.
Elementals. Let me. You while you're thinking about that, I'm gonna go ahead and get to some of these. 8 out of 10, 5 out of 10. Sloppy and messy. To me, I'm a writer by nature. I can't help it. Felt like COVID really impacted this production. 9 out of 10. Oppenheimer out of 10. 8.2 for me. 9 out of 10 for Ilsa. 6.5. I have not seen this movie. I just want to give Omar a 10 out of 10. Thank you for that. That is so kind of you. Spider-Man's best movie of the year so far for me. Guardians of the Galaxy 3, Spidey Across the Spider-Verse is very much part 2. Omar gets the same score as Batman, 6 out of 10. Sorry for the irrelevant question, but should I buy Wakanda World of Black Panther Omnibus or Black Panther by Ta-Nehisi Coates? Buy Ta-Nehisi Coates, Black Panther out of those two. Because Wakanda is an expansion of that omnibus. So some of the stories during that time are set during Ta-Nehisi Coates' time as Black Panther. So that's why I went with that. Dude, I know, right? It's like people make fun of the Flash, but I actually like the Flash. I thought Flash was solid. Like, it had a lot of flaws. I'm not gonna lie, but it was a fun. It's the same stupid plot that Spider-Verse did. Okay, I'm just gonna say, just
it is the
same plot, and people give it crap.
Spider-Verse.
Everyone, thank you, Josh. Everyone was way too harsh on the Flash. It was fun. There was definitely blood in the water with that. Yeah, absolutely. And you know what? I get it. People going into that movie for several reasons we're gonna hate it no matter what, right? The end of the Snyderverse. Elsa, what the heck's their name? Elsa Miller.
Ezra Miller. Rebecca Ferguson on your mind.
Sorry. Ezra Miller. And what was it? Oh, or the beginning of the James Gunn universe. Like, people were already hating on that movie for those reasons. Didn't matter before the movie even came out. So 10 out of 10. Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning's 10 out of 10.
Nice.
Skip me. Skip. No, I don't skip you. The What's Up, Sean Hook movie was way too long and felt bloated. 6, maybe 7. Some great stunts. This is the first time I've seen Sean Hook hate on something. Across the Spider-Verse is amazing, but so is Mission Impossible. Okay, quiz for you. What movie is this? 100 fart. I don't. What is that? What is that, Amanda?
I don't know.
Omar, would you want a Mission Impossible comic? Only if Rob Liefeld drew the covers, and I say that because he did. Marvel released the Mission Impossible comic the year it came out, and Rob Liefeld drew the cover. And I think to this day, and rightly so, he still brags about Tom Cruise asking him to draw the cover, and Tom Cruise writing him a nice letter. I don't know. That story, I know 20 plus years ago, he shared it every time he was out. I mean, right, Tom Cruise asking you to draw something, you do it. The Flash is my favorite movie over the summer until Oppenheimer. See? People love Flash. Spider-Verse did it better. I still don't get why Flash CGI was so bad. Amanda said it was the director's choice.
I think they're making an excuse for it. But that's
okay. Yeah, I don't believe that crap either, dude. I do not believe that. Like, answer the perfect storm. How am I supposed to get the perfect storm out of it?
The perfect storm?
Flash did surprise me in a good way. A very entertaining CBM. James Gunn had nothing to do with the Flash, but the internet's gonna internet. No, they claim that James Gunn changed the ending and made it goofy. Like, I swear, people on
adding
that
the Bruce. Changing with George Clooney.
No, and that could be true. He could have said, "Hey, let's put this guy in there instead of that guy." Ha ha. Yeah. Question: do you believe this movie will make its money back, or the writers and actor strike will affect this movie?
I don't think it'll affect.
What do you think, Amanda?
Well, I mean, I don't think it'll affect them. I mean, they've already done the press, and that was the accusations the SAG made, is that the Alliance of Motion Picture and Television Producers, they purposely waited out with the extension. They didn't really give them any actual deals because they were trying to promote their last summer movies as much as possible before that deadline, which was a couple days ago, hit. So we already have it's already been marketed, right? So I don't think the strike will affect it in any way. I think people will still go see it or not see it. The box office has been meh the entire summer, right? I mean, no one's made. I mean, yes, Spider-Man's done really well. Guardians did pretty well, but everything after that has just been very lackluster. The only thing I think this has going for it is there is some goodwill with Tom Cruise, especially with Top Gun Maverick last year, and the reviews are pretty great on this. It's a Mission Impossible movie. A lot of people love that franchise, so I feel like it'll do well. It has a bloated budget mainly because of COVID, so will it make its money back? It's really going to depend on how well it does here in the international markets, because we keep forgetting that the strike is here in the United States, but international actors guilds and stuff, they're not striking or anything like that. So that's why House of Dragon can still film, is because most of the actors are part of the Equity, which is the British guild, and they are not striking. They said you can, be in solidarity with our American counterparts, but if you don't show up to work, we can't protect you. So yes, and a lot of the people in House of the Dragon are, I guess, British actors that are part of the Equity and not SAG. So there we go.
Yeah, I don't think it will. I don't think it will affect it any.
No, I don't think
it will affect like the writer's strike, or I guess now the actors, right? I don't think it will affect this movie at all. Like, this movie's gonna do as much as it was gonna do, even if those things weren't going on. So
now, what I do think will be affected is anything coming out after Barbie and Oppenheimer. So Blue Beetle, for instance, August 18th. I doubt we will have the strike resolved by then. They cannot do any press for that film at all. Sholo did put that on his Instagram. He's like, unfortunately, I can't do any press because we're striking. So here you go. And so and there's going to be a number of films coming out in August and stuff. So those films, I think, will be directly affected by the strike, because you're not going to have actors on these press tours. You're not going to have the Barbie press tour with Margot Robbie doing all her different costume changes and all that stuff, right? They can't do any of that. The actors can't be out there promoting their films. So those films, I think, will see a direct hit from the strike. But anything up to like Barbie and Oppenheimer, I don't think, I wouldn't blame the strike on their box office draw, if that makes sense.
Give me Korean drama shows.
Well, I'm sure we're going to get plenty of those on Netflix.
I have a funny story to share. I was, so we went to Japan and we went to the Ghibli Park. And at the Ghibli Park, we stood an hour and a half to get into this one section. And I love striking up conversations with strangers, and I noticed they were speaking English. And this is so awesome. So we just got to know these people an hour and a half into the, just standing there. And what they do for a living is they're producers. They're both from Korea, and they're producers for the first movie they produced together was Three Ninjas. Do you remember those? The Three Ninja movies? They did the fourth one, High Noon at Mega Mountain.
Oh, I love the Three Ninja films.
They were I was like, oh my gosh, I remember that movie. They're like, oh my God, you know that movie? Yeah, we did that. And then they did a lot of Korean drama. They brought over a lot of stuff for the Netflix. And they're right now they're like, we're a little bit older now, so now we want to focus on Korean documentaries. So that's kind of the stuff that they're working on. So that was really funny. I'm like, both Melanie and I are like, oh, Three Ninjas. And they were like, yeah, but it's the fourth one. We were like, High Noon at Mega Mountain. They were like, oh my God, you actually know that movie. Because it's the one with what's his face? Hulk Hogan. Hulk Hogan's the other one. But yeah, they were really nice. And they subscribed to the channel. So I don't know if they're ever watching. I wish I'd gotten your number because they were really sweet people.
That's cool.
So yeah, I'm sure we're gonna get that. We're gonna get a lot of freaking what's it called?
Reality shows,
reality TV shows, MILF Manor, and all that stuff. The Devil Wears Prada.
Yeah,
they get that one.
I think you did.
Prada.
Craig also got it. Good on you, Craig.
Oh, look at Craig. Craig got it. Remember Surf Ninjas? I remember Surf Ninjas. They've been working on Blue Beetle for like 20 years. I believe it when I'm sitting in the movie. I think it's almost there. It's almost there.
It's coming out. But we haven't answered. Oh, go ahead.
I've been going through the old ones, and I've only seen Dead Reckoning and Fallout. And God, that third act of two gets a lot of hate. And rightly so. It's way too artsy, and I love John Woo. And there's symbolism everywhere. The Holy Spirit. It's a little much for a Mission Impossible movies.
It definitely was like an early 2000s film. You could just see it. It's written all over that thing. It 100% was like a certain aesthetic of a time we all lived in.
Oh my gosh. There were a couple. I enjoyed aspects of it. All right. What was the question? You said we needed to.
Someone asked about Barbie and Oppenheimer.
Okay, so I'll let you answer.
Yes. So our plan is to try to do a double feature and see both of the films on Thursday.
So
unfortunately, our market isn't doing any special double features, so we're going to have to try to time it the best we can to make two showings. Now, Oppenheimer is a 3-hour movie, so we may have to take a break. I don't know. But Oppenheimer may come first because it's a 3-hour movie and is apparently a downer at the end. And then I want to be lifted up towards the end of the night.
I can't imagine that being a happy movie, though.
No,
with
it's not.
What they're talking about.
I know. It's about the nuclear bomb. And so I don't expect it to be a happy movie at all. So, yeah, right? Suddenly they're
dust off that Batgirl, baby. Get that off that shelf. You both rock for trying to make it a double feature. Sounds like a ton of fun. Thank you. We enjoy movies. We really enjoy movies, and we enjoy talking about movies.
We do. We love it.
It's nice that you all are here with us talking about movies.
Exactly.
And even movies that we all don't agree with, or sometimes I enjoy and Amanda doesn't, or vice versa. Or sometimes you all really like a movie that I'm like, I'm sorry, I didn't like it as much. Did I get yelled at? Ruthless.
It's always fun. Craig, this is interesting. Hollywood changed. I believe so. There's other YouTubers I watch and about the strike, and they've striked before. The 60s or 60 years ago, the first strike. Ronald Reagan was president at the time of the SAG, right?
Oh, okay. I was like, what?
The SAG award. No,
like, something's off. 60 years ago? No. What's going on here?
And it was at a time when they were wanting residuals for movies being shown on TV because TV was the new medium. Then the next time the actors striked was in the 80s, and it was because home video cassettes were coming out. So another new form. So this is not, the idea is not new, right? We have streaming as a new form of media. Yes, Ronald Reagan, the actor. A new form.
You know what he's quoting?
No, I don't remember.
Ronald Reagan, the actor. Back to the Future.
Oh, Back to the Future. I'm sorry. Okay.
It's okay. It's okay.
But a new medium, right? We have streaming. And it's a new frontier. We're gone are the days of the residuals for airing on TV and things of that nature. The only difference is instead of just regular studios, like someone keeps saying in the chat, we have these tech companies, other revenue streams, right? Amazon, not really Netflix, but they have a different mindset. These are
they're so disconnected.
These are multinational corporations. Early studios were not like that. They weren't multinational corporations with different revenue streams, and now they're bought out by these conglomerates, right? NBC, Universal, like they don't just do movies and TVs. It's so much more. Amazon, Disney's so much more. That's why Bob Iger could be a dick and talk about how the actors
he's watching right now with his wife
they
and
don't
grandkids.
understand what they're doing to the industry. And I'm like, no, you guys did it to yourselves. It's your fault. You made the decision to go in on streaming. You're the ones who are losing money because you made the decision, not the actors. You just gave them jobs in all these things. Your company's the one who said, I'm going to just bloat our streaming service with a ton of TV shows and movies on about Marvel and Star Wars that have diminishing returns because we don't know how that all works. That's on you, not on the actors. Don't like blame the actors and the writers for your bad business decisions. That's on you guys. So
that's why those people always do. They gotta freaking point fingers. They never point fingers at themselves.
And I get it. Like, yes, there are actors who do make a lot of money,
but never gonna take the blame for what they do.
But not all actors are Tom Cruise. The majority of the actors in the SAG are actually just regular working folks. Like that.
Thank you, Colin. I had a live interview lined up with Iger on Monday, and Amanda just done ruined it. I was about to borrow that book that you bought.
Oh yeah, I know. I really regret having that book about Bob. I used to.
What? No, don't regret it. You learned from it, right? You learned what you got out of it. So it's all good. Your
idols. They just disappoint.
Disney Plus was Bob Iger's baby. Now he's walking back.
This is what I think, because of the strike, things will get delayed enough. I think we will see a lot of shows getting cut. Like, you will not see what our Marvel lineup looked like. Be prepared. I don't think that's what it's going to look like. And why is my power going out?
That's the power of Bob Iger, baby.
Yeah,
he's about to shut your ass down.
Coming. My lights keep flashing. So
he's about to shut your electricity off.
Yeah, what the hell is that about? So anyways, I don't know what I was talking about. Yeah, I have a feeling we're going to see less Marvel TV shows and maybe Star Wars TV shows in the near future, because they're going to end up cutting some things because of the strike and because of Bob Iger's comments. In addition to him also selling off ABC and all of their broadcast television assets, he'll be selling all those off too. So
this is a really interesting question here, because I brought this up to you about, so animation is also involved now that the actors are involved, right? And they also have writers. But anime that gets translated to English, how does that work? Because we're talking about, this is crazy, but we are now talking about an episode of anime airing in Japan at the same time that it's going to be airing in America. But somebody is doing those translations. So is that somebody considered a writer? And is that writer part of the writer strike?
I imagine they would be.
So how is anime gonna keep going through strike? It's so weird, like the loopholes I'm sure they're trying to find. So how is anime gonna continue past 2024 for streaming services, right?
Well, especially if it's, it depends on who it may. I don't know if there's an exception if the person you're contracting with is, let's say, not part of the Alliance of Motion Picture and Television Producers. Like, if they're not part of the AMPTP or whatever, then maybe you can get around that. But if they're part of it, then you wouldn't be able to do the voiceover work. You wouldn't be able to write for them.
Well, I'm not even talking about voiceover. That makes sense. But I'm talking about the translations. When it's in Japanese.
Well, I guess it depends on, are they hiring WGA writers to do those translations, or are they hiring?
We're about to find out it was GPT the whole time translating anime.
Well, that makes a lot of sense in some of those translations, so that's fine.
Okay, I'm not talking about what's it called? No Japanese English. I'm talking about legit companies like Viz and Funimation, that actually have to pay somebody to do the translations. I would think that that's part of the writing strike, right?
Yeah, I think it might be. I don't know if those are included. I would have to look at the rules if translators, because like even with the SAG, there are certain people that can still work. Like broadcast TV newscasters are part of the SAG, but they can still work because it's not really directed at their industry, right? It's more the motion picture side. Like stunt performers who are in the SAG cannot work, all that stuff. So there are certain exceptions. So I don't know what those are within the WGA.
Yeah, I'm curious to know about that because it's not a straight up translation. What you're doing is you're
rewriting the dialogue essentially.
You are to making it for an American audience. So it's a little bit different than just a straight up translation. I've been catching up on my movie backlog and reading more books lately. That's what's up, man. I think, and I don't have a lot of knowledge on the numbers, but it seems really hard to keep and increase subscribers to any service. I don't even know how that works. Like, I still think it's a magical thing that Amanda tried to explain to me once, and I don't get it. No. WGA doesn't cover translation, but again, it's not just a translation. Somebody has to rewrite that to Americanize that dialogue. So that person, I assume, is a writer.
Yeah.
Unless, because and it's not just America, right? They localize things everywhere. Like Latin America has their own translations, but those have to be localized for wherever they are because a lot of the jokes don't translate well into English and Spanish from the Japanese. The fate of the MCU between COVID, these strikes, is how dangerous too much planning can be.
I think so. Yeah.
But there is a beauty to planning, right? Like, we love that. We love to see the plan. We love to see the end game, if you will. Man, that's crazy. In 2 years, ChatGPT will be complaining about pay.
It will. When it becomes sentient, and the studios will really regret it.
How is this possible then? Daytime soap opera actors aren't affected either.
I think they're
that doesn't make sense. You can fire Japanese workers to translate, problem solved. What? You mean hire? That makes more sense. You can hire Japanese workers, but it's still an American company, right? That are bringing about like this shit just is so confusing because what made me think about that is that whole Game of Thrones thing.
Yeah.
Like, sure. You're still filming over there, but it's still being streamed through an American service.
Mm-hmm.
So how does that make sense?
Exactly.
Loopholes, baby.
Loopholes.
They're gonna be recast. They're gonna be recasting everyone. And my dude needs to move to the UK so he gets cast.
Taking a break. I think he's taking a break for a while.
He ain't taking a break, man. He needs to come back. Now's the time that we need him.
It's gonna be
Amanda. You're an NSYNC fan? Only Backstreet Boys are allowed here.
Dude,
you don't even know. Look at she's crazy.
I
told her to burn that.
But you NSYNC fan.
I said burn that thing. What are you doing with that?
Before they broke up, I saw them 3 times in concert. It was great. That was a long time ago.
It's a different contract for soap operas.
Yeah, because it is like it's interesting because when they explained it, Fran and Doug Ireland, that guy, were explaining it. It is they have to be on these certain AMPTP contracts. So that's why there are some exceptions to it.
The best subscription service is the Near Mint Condition Patreon. Thank you for that, President. And Josh was saying that a little bit earlier. Oh my God, all that memorabilia. I'm repulsed by your fandom. Dang, Shauna usually loves you.
I know. I'm sorry.
That you chose NSYNC over.
My daughter also has her own NSYNC shirt. Okay.
Power Rangers used to follow in with cartoons years ago and remain unaffected as they were non-union. Now that Hasbro owns them, I have no idea what they are. And I think Power Rangers are kind of over, right? This is the final thing for Power Rangers, and that's it, which is crazy. Question: how do you feel about the news, Miss Marvel? Well, it's a little bit of a spoiler, but yes. How do I feel about the news? I think it was something that I said immediately when she died. We had a show that night, and I'm like, they're gonna bring her back as a mutant.
Yeah,
exactly. Bring her back as a mutant. I'm like, I don't know. I'm surprised how fast it was. I'm glad that what's her name is writing it though.
Hopefully she's a good writer.
Right. It cannot be worse than J.J. Abrams kid writing that Spider-Man story. It can't be worse than that.
It'd be like me as a fan, be like, I'll write it, but I write fanfic.
Yeah, but you write fanfic and you're good at that. Maybe that's what she's been doing.
And she
Dude, it can't be worse than J.J. Abrams' kid writing Spider-Man. That thing was awful.
Well, there we go.
NSYNC is better than God Loves Man Kills. Josh, you ain't ever read a damn page of God Loves Man Kills. Having mastered math, Terrence Howard has retreated to quiet study to work on the alphabet next. That's my main, dude. Boy bands, I miss the simpler times.
Me too. Things were a lot simpler before we got AI.
Boy bands are, guys, what are y'all talking about? Boy bands never went away. They were there before we.
Backstreet Boys still make a ton of money.
BTS. Backstreet Boys, dude, BTS.
Oh, okay, BTS.
Them dudes are crazy. Like,
yeah, they are.
And they're still relevant.
Didn't they take a break because the one guy has to serve in the military?
Oh, they're like Menudo. They're going to replace that little dude with another little dude. They're going to be fine. Anonymous, dudes. I have the Batman TMNT Omnibus. It's real and it's in my hands. Mine should be here tomorrow. I'm excited for that one. News is such a shock. Yeah. It was Marvel themselves. Yep. It is. That's why there's fan translations for anime or any media. Power Rangers has been non-union since the beginning. Also, they're no longer shooting in New Zealand. It will still continue. No, I mean, like, then they this is the last of the Power Rangers. Like, because they're not borrowing footage anymore from Sentai, and it just has become too cost. Like, they're not making their money back. And they used to make their money back because it was the #1 best-selling toy for decades in America. Mm-hmm. And it's just gone. Can't be worse than Sepp Wells Amazing Spider-Man. I saw Dune instead of that book club. You should read Dune. It's a good book. Korean boy bands are the new
girl bands. Girl bands. They are all over.
Girl bands coming back. Girl bands
like Blackpink and New Jeans, I think, is one of them. There's a ton of them. Like, just
I'm curious how you know these names.
Oh, I like a lot of the Korean girl groups. I listen to some. Blackpink's one of my favorite. I listen to a lot of their stuff. My daughter likes them too, so we listen to a lot of Blackpink. She asked me because they sing English and Korean, so sometimes it goes back and forth. So it's funny to to hear her try to do the Korean. So there we go.
Japanese game shows are weird to watch but entertaining. That's all we watched when we were there. When I had time to watch something. That and there was an anime though I watched. That was it. Ironic that Hasbro buys MMRP and the IP drops downward. Oh, well, that's what happens when you have too much IP, right? Yeah. You've got G.I. Joe, you've got Transformers, you've got Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, you've got everything but He-Man, and of course Barbie. But it's like, what do you do with all this stuff? You bought up too many Dungeons and Dragons, dude. There was that whole fiasco with Dungeons and Dragons.
Where Mattel's going to make more movies. That's what they're going to do. But anyway, all right. Well, we have come up to almost 10:30 now. So I think we're going to wrap up. And yeah, so next week, I have to call a foul on myself. We can't do a Wednesday show because I have to go see Taking Back Sunday in concert that night. So on Wednesday, but we are going to be doing a double feature of Barbie and Oppenheimer, and then we'll do a review for you guys of both movies. Why not? Next Friday. So that's going to be a fun time.
Okay, I hope you know what you're in for.
I don't know.
Honestly, what we need to do is watch Barbie first.
Okay.
And then Oppenheimer, because I feel like out of Oppenheimer, we're not going to want to do anything.
Maybe
we're gonna be tired. We're gonna go home and just sleep and think about it.
Yes.
So I think let's do that. So I hope everybody gets a chance to go and see those movies, or if you don't care, then come back and join us next Friday. What time? You decided. You decided.
We might have to do that one at 8 since we got 2 movies to review.
Yeah.
So
we'll do it back to back, baby. We'll do it back to back.
Back to back. So, all right, guys. So thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to hit that like. I hope
it's not gonna be depressing.
Don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button. And remember to follow us on all of our social media channels at nearmintcon. Remember to check us out on Spreadshop for some great Near Mint Condition merchandise, and also check us out on Patreon for $1 a month or more. You can support us and get some really great perks along the way. And last but not least, if it's classy and cool, it must be Near Mint. Good journey till all are one. We'll see y'all later.
I love that you just keep adding shit on the end of that. Till all are one.